Date time. It is Wednesday, November 6th, and I'm moving along, chopping away at these miles here in PA. Since I last checked in, I was able to get that 20 done out of Delaware Water Gap. It did require a little bit of night hiking there towards the end of the day from Wind Gap up to Leroy A. Smith Shelter. It's like 5 miles from the gap to the shelter, and I probably spent maybe an hour hiking with my headlamp. It wasn't too bad. Plus, there was a really cool day hiker who was out for like an evening/night hike, Heather, that I met, and she essentially hiked that whole like night hike with me or whatever, and it was cool. We were chatting, and she's interested in long distance backpacking and through hiking, and had a lot of questions for me, and yeah, she's really cool. We had a good time hiking up the hill. She's a mental health professional, and I was able to to run by her something. I had been concerned with the amount that I talked to myself on trail because there's nobody around for the majority of the day. I mean, I'm not hiking with a bubble or anything right now. And yeah, I just kind of chat with myself sometimes, and I've got French lessons on my phone too. I've been practicing my French, so sometimes I'm talking in French. But yeah, I ran it past her, and she said that's okay. I got a clean bill of mental health from Heather, so that's good. And actually, I was thinking about that, Heather. I don't know. I gave you the information, so you'll probably see this video. I don't know if you've heard about it, but several of the people that I was hiking around this year are a part of, I don't know what you want to call it, a organization or a fun not-for-profit, something like that. It's called Hike for Mental Health. Yeah, and it's really, really cool. I don't know a ton about it. I don't know what the money raised goes toward, whether it's for treatment or research, but that might be something that you would be interested in down the road. So yeah, if you wanted to send me a message or something like that, maybe I can maybe I can forward you to one of the people that I was hiking with earlier who are part of that organization. And I actually think that the people who run it are from this area, like PA, New Jersey. So if you were interested in getting involved with that might be something that would be relatively easy for you, given where you are located. So yeah, after I made it to Leroy A. Smith, oh, and Heather hooked me up with water, so I night hiked there, and apparently water was like half a mile downhill, and then I'd have to hike up the hill in the dark. She hooked me up with water, so she was saying she hadn't been able to do any trail magic this year and wanted to do it next year. That was trail magic. You gave me some water so I didn't have to hike down the hill in the dark, and I actually had enough to hike out the next day. Even though, I mean, water here in PA is it's pretty scarce. Lady said it was raining when she came through, so water wasn't really an issue, but I had heard from some pass-through hikers and in my research that a PA can be pretty dry, and that's the case right now. I'm as I'm hiking along, sometimes there'll be reported water sources in the guidebook, but there won't be any water there. You'll see that there's a runoff area there, but there's no water. And even some of the shelters, like some of the shelters will have a pump, but they'll shut the pump off in the cold months. So I've seen a couple occasions here lately where there's been a pump, but it's been capped for the winter. Yeah, I think it's like I alluded to earlier with how you come up out of town, you kind of ridge walk, and there's just not a whole lot of up and down, so there's not a whole lot of areas for runoff that the trail intersects. So yeah, I don't really know. I think I'm like 12 miles into my day today, and I'm shooting for 18, and I've only got a little bit of water left. So I think I could probably stretch that into 6. There might be another water source that looks kind of funky too. I don't know, the quality may be in question. I did pass a Superfund site not too long ago. It's kind of neon green. I'm just kidding. Got some Mio in there. My dad hooked it up with some Mio in the mail drop. That is nice and tasty. Not sure what flavor that is. I think it's green apple or something like that. But yeah, that's good stuff. Oh, another thing that I wanted to sort of show, little trick of the trade that I ran across. So I think it was the time before last I updated. I'm not sure. I was talking about how I washed the socks at the Mohican Outdoor Center, and I was trying to dry them on my pack. Well, normally what I had been doing is sort of just kind of hanging it in between here. But as you can see, I have my pole on my pack now. I've been doing that a lot lately because you climb up out of town, you just kind of walk. You don't really need the poles, and I'll carry them. But I've just been having them up here a lot. So that day, what I ended up doing, and it did a pretty good job of drying them, is I just kind of like hang the sock on the pole like this, and it dries it so much better than having it dangling on the side like that. So I thought I'd just share that little trick of the trade with you guys, so my fellow hikers can dry their socks faster. So yeah, out of Leroy Smith, I think I had like a 15 mile day, something like that, to Palmerton. Knocked that out. Got into town, checked in at the Jailhouse Hostel, which is a great hostel. Really cool. It's below, like, I don't know what you would even call it, like the Civic Center or a city building, something like that. They sort of operate different. I think people pay their bills there, and there's like a gym there. People are in there playing basketball when I was there. But yeah, it's completely free. You go down in the basement. It's really cool, really geared towards hikers. A lot of places to hang out, plugs to plug in, tons of bunks. It probably sleeps, I mean, it's a huge area, so it sleeps a ton of hikers if they're willing to let them sleep on the floor. There's really cool artwork on the wall too from Pilgrim, who thru hiked last year, and it was of like the phases of the sun as viewed from one of the ridges up here nearby. So that was really cool. Checked in there, stayed there, got a nice hot shower, was able to wash up my socks and dry them with a fan. Speaking of socks, yeah, these liners that I got at Mohican Outdoor Center are awesome. Since I got these, I have not had like any foot issues. There was some discomfort with the sort of situation I had created. The rigged up insole that I had in there in my boot, but it wasn't too bad. I wanted new insoles, and I got new insoles at Rite Aid in Palmerton. Just basic like cushion insoles, and put them in there. And I actually didn't have great arch support with that, so what I did is I cut the previous insole just in front of the arch, cut all that off, and I'm still using the heel cup and the arch. Put that down on the bottom of the boot, put the new insole on top of it, and I can actually wear these socks that have the worn out spot on the bottom. Been wearing them all day, can't even tell that there's that issue in the bottom. So yeah, my feet are feeling really good. Pretty much since slips, I've been really paying good attention to my feet, and sort of my situation has kind of been improving ever since. So I'm feeling really good. I haven't had any blister issues in like 4 days, so yeah, we're doing really good. Got some duct tape here on this one. That rip that I had right here turned into a full-on tear all the way across. The rocks here in PA are bound and determined to kill my boots, but I am bound and determined to at least make it out of PA with this pair of shoes. So yeah, I got some duct tape on there just so I don't get any rocks or twigs or dirt or anything inside. But yeah, liners work for me. I'm so glad that I got those. Really, really nice. So yeah, headed up out of Palmerton today. Yeah, like I said, I'm maybe 10, 12 miles into my hike today, and just thought I'd stop. I'm actually at a really cool spot here in PA called the Knife's Edge. Sort of a rock formation here that I'm assuming it's associated with uplift, and the rocks have sort of come up to form this real sheer edge here that the trail runs along, and it's really cool, and it's pretty steep on both sides. Give you an idea down there, and then this would be the other side. Not sure if it does it any justice, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then it runs, I don't know how far into it I am, but that's maybe 200 feet into it, maybe 300 feet, not really sure, and I'm not sure how much further south, or trail south it runs, but yeah, this is really cool. I like interesting rock formations like this. It's cool. But yeah, today I'm shooting for Allentown Hiking Club shelter. It's like an 18-mile shelter. I'm glad I'm going over this in the rain, or not going over this in the rain, because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. This would probably be a little tricky going over when they're wet, but they're nice and dry now. So making it to that shelter tonight. It's supposed to rain tomorrow from like 7 or 8 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon or so. I'm thinking I might get to this shelter, eat, take a few hours off, and then do a night hike and get some miles in. Before that rain comes, and then I can sleep in or whatever. There's a 15-mile shelter after this one. I could sleep in and then get a few miles in the afternoon tomorrow. Yeah, that's something I'm seriously considering. I'm gonna call somebody, Soul Flute, who I didn't give you credit. Soul Flute, thank you very much for the ride out. So at Jailhouse Hostel, a 2013 northbound thru hiker, Soul Flute, who lives in this area, sort of in a way to give back this year. You go in there and there's just a note on the table at the hostel that says, "Hey guys," or "Hey hikers, if anybody needs any help, shuttles, slack pack, anything like that, give me a call. Soul Flute, 2013 northbounder." So yeah, I didn't really care to walk out of town. I think it's like 2 miles. So I sent him a text last night. "Hey man, you think you can, drive me back to the trail tomorrow morning, 9ish?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. See you right out there." So yeah, Soul Flute gave me a ride out. But anyway, Soul Flute, I think when I get up here to this shelter, I'm going to give him a call and sort of see how difficult the terrain is from Allentown to the 15-mile shelter. If it's relatively easy, I'm busting it out tonight. If it's difficult, I may just hang out and not really risk going over that stuff in the dark. But going forward, don't really have... Oh yeah, so when I was in Palmerton, they do have Wi-Fi. The cable company in Palmerton kind of has like a monopoly going on the wireless internet situation in town. So they've got wireless internet set up for the various businesses in town, but it's not free. If you want to access it, you have to enter your credit card, and I mean, it's not a whole lot of money. It's like $5 for a day, but when I got into town, it was sort of late in the afternoon, and the Civic Center there in Palmerton closes. They all shut down at 4:30, and I only had like an hour and a half. So, and I still wanted to resupply a little extra food because I wanted to pack out enough to make it to Duncannon. So I've got like 6 or 7 days grub in my bag right now. So yeah, I wasn't able to upload videos in Palmerton, so I probably won't be able to get any of these up until I get to Duncannon. So yeah, Duncannon is sort of my next town, and I'm thinking it's, like I said, it's going to take me maybe 6 days to get there. It's a little over 100 miles. I think it's like 120, maybe a little more. I'm not sure, but yep, that's sort of what I got going on. I'm sure I'll check in along the way. Yeah, y'all take it easy.